Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Oh, hey, Internet. Welcome back to the Intoxicated Podcast. This is your drunk podcast with some heart, and I am your host, Sarah, and this is the last episode of 2017. And let me tell you guys, this year has been an insanely crazy year. On a world level, 2017 was not a very good year. But one thing I can say for sure is that on a personal level, this year has been amazing for me. Starting in February, I started this podcast. And if you're brand new to this podcast, just to fill you in, this is a podcast that was inspired by my friends, essentially. So I started this podcast in the hopes of having friends on, and we would have some drinks of their choice and talk about life. And what started off as a fun comedy podcast really turned into something totally different than what I ever thought. Over this past year, I've had so many guests on. I've learned so much from all my guests, and I've opened myself up to a lot of new people as well, which is huge for me. The podcast has really grown quite a bit, and I'm so thankful for it because it really made dealing with the shittiness of the world a lot easier this year. Having an outlet, having a platform to come on and express myself is something I'm incredibly thankful for. So if you are a listener of the show, I just wanted to say thank you so much for sticking with me all year, for tuning in every week, and giving me a reason to keep going with this. I also want to give a huge thank you and shout out to all the guests I've had on this year because, honest to God, they truly are what have made this podcast what it is. I'm so proud of Intoxicated, and that leads me to this week's guest. This week we have Corey from Intoxicated Reviews on the podcast. Now, Intoxicated Reviews, for anyone who doesn't know, I say it every week, but it is another channel that we have under Intoxicated, all about TV and movies. Corey is a really good friend of mine who is a pop culture expert and a huge fan of TV and movies. He's one of the main friends in my life that really helped me launch the podcast. I owe a lot of the inspiration and the creativity behind it to Corey, so I'm so stoked to have him on finally to chat all about it. So we created the second channel, and Corey has since taken it over. He is the host of Intoxicated Reviews. He's the producer of it. It's doing really well, and we're both very proud of Intoxicated Reviews. So Corey joined me this week. We sat down, we drank, and we kind of reflected on this whole podcast journey, how it started, how far we've come, how reviews came about. We talked about our favorite moments on both podcasts. And I gotta say, it was really, really nice to sit down with Corey and chat about this. He is my partner in crime and podcasting. He and I have big plans for each channel. We are so excited for 2018, and we're so thankful for how far we've come this year. I truly think Corey and I have both grown a lot through podcasting, through each of our shows. For myself personally, doing this show, doing this podcast has made me a more confident person, has made me more empowered, more proud of who I am. And not to get too cheesy, but that is something that I have not had in a long time. So my heart is really full coming on the end of 2017 and looking ahead. Again, lots of shitty things happened, but a lot of positivity came out of this year as well. Now, we also did get into sort of the most notable TV shows and movies of the year. So I will add timestamps below because this episode is longer. We did talk for a long, long time. But I'll be sure to add timestamps in the description so you guys can kind of figure out what you want to listen to. But I will say that the pop culture stuff is pretty awesome because we kind of go through different lists of TV shows and movies, and Corey essentially gives his elevator pitch for each one. He is a huge consumer of media. He has watched almost everything on Earth. So it's kind of the Sparks Notes version of his thoughts on these shows and movies. It's also really fun because there was a lot of agreeing to disagree. We agree on a lot of things, but we also disagree on some as well. So that's a lot of fun. We also got a little deep with it in this episode because we talked about kind of all the things that happened this year in the news and in the world and how it affected us and sort of the idea of the fact that the show and the podcast for both of us is an escape from all of that. So really, really great conversation. I think you guys will really enjoy this. It is longer, but keep in mind it is kind of a year in review. We're talking about a whole year here. So that being said, because it's a long episode, I'm going to shut up and get to the episode. So make sure you are subscribed to Intoxicated Reviews and Intoxicated Podcast, of course, on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, any podcasting app you have, you should be able to find us. And if you can't, please let us know. And if you've been enjoying what we've been doing, feel free to leave us a review or a rating on iTunes. It would really, really help us out. Don't forget that you can contact us on all social media on Facebook and Instagram at Intoxicated Podcast. Twitter is _toxicated. Email us your feedback or your thoughts to our Gmail account. That's intoxicatedpodcast@gmail.com. And if you're looking for a place to check everything out under one roof, you can check out our website at www.intoxicatedpodcast.com. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoy this epic episode with Corey, and Happy New Year. I am empty inside. Anyways, guys.
like that was part of it. Anyway,
I'm empty inside. This is the Intoxicated Podcast.
I really actually hope you just cut into like just a rambling conversation and they're like, welcome back. Just have it like 3 minutes of us just rambling on and then be like, hey, welcome back.
You're listening to the Intoxicated Podcast.
Yes.
Guess who's with me today? Wait, no, let them guess. It's Corey.
Should I give him 3 hints? I was like, should I?
It's Corey!
Yeah.
Corey is here! Corey is the host of Intoxicated Reviews.
I am.
So that is our other channel, all about TV and movies. And he is here. We're going to talk about 2017.
We are.
We're drinking, but we're drinking... This is like the time of the year.
Booze left over from 2017.
Yeah. So, Corey, you're drinking...
Lunenburg Coffee and Cocoa Stout made by Alexander Keith's Brewery.
Oh, it's Keith's?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know
They
that.
tried to get on the craft beer bandwagon, and I will say nothing but, hey, Keith, if you want to support the podcast, I will say nothing bad about your beer anymore. I don't mind it.
Okay, and I just want to preface this by saying this was left over from a Christmas party I had last weekend, and Amy left it for us. So thanks, Amy, for the beer.
Yes, Amy.
You might not know that you left it here, but you did, and I decided to wait a week before I was like, yeah, we can probably drink that.
Don't worry, Amy. If you're looking for it, I'll keep it safe in my tummy.
Well, apparently there's this thing that if you leave booze at someone's house, it is
48 hours.
It is no longer yours. I do believe in the 48 hours things because I would be the one to go back for my booze.
Even if you verbally say, hey, I left my booze within 48 hours, please don't drink it. I'm poor. Yeah. And I will come and get it. That's fine. But if you just let it go?
If you just let it go, it's gone.
That's true. So I repoed your beer.
But it is now Corey's. Yeah. I'm just drinking vodka soda water like I always drink. Oh, we have Fireball too. Should we do a shot of Fireball? Maybe not.
I will do a shot of Fireball for sure. I think I brought this up. Well, I brought it up to you earlier. I've been drinking all day long, but I will do a shot of Fireball. Let's do it in between.
Let's do it before we talk about the sad stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good idea.
We'll do it. We'll do it at some point. But I did want to have some Fireball. What was I going to say? So, I mean, this is your first time alone on the podcast.
Yeah.
So, friendship origin story between you and me.
I think we did a friendship. We did it on one podcast, but I don't like.
It's not very exciting.
No.
Essentially, it was Kurt.
Oh, I know. That piece of shit is good for anything. It's putting other good friends in my life. Evan, you, Brendan.
Everyone but Kurt?
Yeah. So, I mean...
I essentially wheeled my way into the trivia group. Is essentially how it happened. I started coming to trivia.
Yes, that's it, yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, that's really about it. He let me... back in the trivia group. He didn't kick me out. So I figure I'm in the good books with you.
Yeah. I turned that around and took over one half of the podcast, and I'm just like, I'm just going to latch myself to Intoxicated.
Well, why don't we, instead of doing a friendship, because our friendship origin story is not that exciting because it involves Kurt, why don't we do a podcast origin story?
Okay, I don't even know really how the order. Like,
I
maybe.
do.
Okay. Well,
I know how this fucking started. Well, actually,
it definitely morphed out of the movie group, but also morphed out of Leftovers. We talked.
that's reviews.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Well, we're going to do both. So we'll start with Intoxicated, and then we'll do reviews. Because reviews came out of Intoxicated.
Okay.
But Intoxicated. So here's the thing, and here's something, I think I've mentioned this before. We have a friend named Norm. Norm's done a couple of your episodes.
Yes.
He does the comic series.
Yes.
Has he been on any other ones?
He has been on. No, he hasn't. Just Crisis on Infinite Opinions, which is his title and name. And if you don't get the reference, you're not a super nerd. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So as I started hanging out with this group of friends, I started hanging out with you and Norm a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
And we would go to the Frog, and I would literally sit there and drink while you guys talked for hours and hours and hours. And I wasn't mad about it. Now, a lot of people would probably get mad at that. They'd probably just be like, this is boring.
Yeah.
I'm not involved in the conversation. But the thing is like, I wanted you guys to start a podcast.
100%.
And I got you a snowball mic. I was meant for you and Norm. And you ended up taking it, because Norm was essentially like, if anyone's going to start, it's going to be Corey, and I'll just show up.
Yeah.
So that happened, and you were like, yeah, I'm thinking about it. And you had a couple ideas.
Yeah. Should we talk about the first idea I had for a podcast?
Is it the morning after Phil?
Yeah.
I still want to do that. I think that could still be a series. Let's talk about it. What was the idea?
So the idea was that, and this is a while back, because as we say this now, Norm doesn't drink anymore, but me and Norm, like, I still drink like crazy. Yes, I have a drunken podcast, obviously I drink. But it was kind of one of those things where we always get drunk together, especially Tuesday nights, because trivia night, you would go to trivia, you do trivia, and then we go across the street to the Frog, and we should say we do trivia at Rock Bottom. Norm now is the host, which that changed a lot of things. So if you're listening to this in Halifax, Rock Bottom trivia is amazing, and so come out, bring a team, and get your ass whipped by our team. But anyway, we used to go across the street to the Frog and drink, and it was one of those things where I came with this idea that we go out, and for a podcast, that we go out, one of us would get super shit faced, and the other one of us would say relatively sober. But the point was the other one had to get blackout drunk, and we would have to have a night of it. And then we had this idea, I named it the morning after Phil, where the other person fills the blackout drunk person on what they did the night before.
I still want to do that at some point.
I know, yeah.
But the thing is like, I love that idea, but like, it's not fun. I mean, I guess it would work if other people were drinking too.
Yeah.
Because it's not always that much fun to be the one getting blackout drunk when you're with like a somewhat sober person.
Yeah. But I think it would have to be like a monthly podcast. You couldn't do it weekly. Like, that's
the other thing, guys. Like, you gotta realize, like, this started as a drunken podcast, but it really, like, isn't really that drunken. Like, we drink almost every episode.
Yes.
But it doesn't necessarily mean we're hammered.
But I love that. I do kind of love the fact about this. We drink during the podcast, and it's almost like going out. Sometimes you drink a bunch and you don't get drunk. Sometimes you drink a bunch or a little and you get totally hammered drunk. So it's funny because we did a recent episode with the movie group where Jen got totally hammered. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, it is a fun podcast. Results may vary. It all depends on what we drink too. So.
That's a great. We need to put that in our descriptions. Results may vary. But that was one of the ideas, and I think you had an idea too about, wasn't it about like Netflix shows or movies or something like that?
Yeah, I do commentary track for Netflix shows. By the way, this is all patent pending, people. So don't say my idea. But I had another one. Yeah, I had another idea for one called Hit Play Now, where it was it was Netflix commentary track movies. But I guess we just kind of. Well, you can keep the story going.
Well, okay, so I gave you the mic.
Yes.
I was an apology gift because I was like a drunken, fucking terrible friend back then, and I got all my friend apology gifts, and I was like, I want to get Corey and Norm a mic. And I ended up just being your mic. And then you were just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it eventually. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Nothing happened. Then I think one thing too is like when we met, we bonded over podcasts.
Yeah.
Because you were the one who got me into How Did This Get Made and Weekly Planet. Like you suggested these shows. And I was already like, I think at that time I was already listening to like RHAP, which is a recap review podcast.
Yeah.
But then I started getting into like human interesty podcasts. And I started discovering these other podcasts that I was like, holy shit, this is a whole other genre that is amazing. And then I think it was, I don't even remember the moment that I was like, I should do a podcast, but I just remember bringing it up at the Frog to you guys, being like, I kind of want to start a podcast where I drink and the friends, like the guests choose the alcohol and I just have to drink it no matter what.
Yeah.
And from there, ideas kind of started spitballing, like very slowly.
Yes.
Because I didn't start, like, this was like this time last year that I came up with the idea.
Yeah, I guess.
And it didn't start until February.
Yeah, that's very true.
So it was kind of a long process, but like you were a big factor in starting this podcast. You made a lot of suggestions. Corey came up with the name.
Yeah.
It's on our Instagram, the screenshot.
Do you remember any of the other names?
Yeah, it was like the Half Empty podcast, the Liquid Courage podcast. And oddly enough, like I remember I did a poll and Intoxicated didn't win the poll. I don't remember what won.
I think, yeah.
But I remember like when I would mention it to people, everyone loved it. Like people love puns and they loved it.
But so also it's one of those things too where like it didn't win the poll because there was a ton and people were giving you input, like not just me. It's not like me and you just came up with a bunch of names. There's a lot of people in our friends group were coming up with names for it. And I feel like though, and not to like be like, oh, I didn't win because of this, but because you look at it sometimes and it's just, or you say it out loud or you look at it and you got to say it out loud to understand the pun. It's just like,
it's true.
It's like oh, I get it. Or like when you say it out loud sometimes it's like intoxicated and it's like, so you're intoxicated. Like, no, it's spelled TALKS. Yeah.
Which fucks us over in SEO. So like if you're someone who's found this show and is not a friend of ours, please let us know.
Yeah.
Because I think that we worry about that sometimes with the pun.
Yeah.
But, and then it came time for me to release like the first episode and I recorded it with my friends Karen and Neve and it was amazing. I love that episode to this day. But I remember when I was like getting ready to launch it, you were like, oh, it's the Oscars. Like we need to do it. We should each talk about, what was it? Like the best picture nominees?
Yeah, we should talk about the Oscars or whatever. It's a good topic. And it kind of just morphed in this thing. Like we were talking about, it kind of sucks because these conversations usually happen on Tuesday night when we're already drunk. So like a lot is forgotten, but it's mainly like we should do something for the Oscars. Maybe we can pick our favorite or who we think are going to win. But then we kind of figure out, we're like, well, no, let's each review 3 of the movies and make an argument about, because there was 9 movies now.
Yeah, that's right.
But Jen came in later. We're just like, and then we'll have, I was like, well, Jen can come in and judge it because Jen hasn't seen any of these movies. So that's how we kind of like, it wasn't the first episode, but the first one aired was us.
Yeah, it was this, I feel like it was either second or third recorded because I think I recorded the Caitlyn episode after, I don't even know. But regardless, I had some recorded. Yeah. And we just thought it would be a good... Okay, this is another good story. And I'll be super quick with this because we're going to get to...
Yeah, we got like a whole topic, but we're just like...
I know, but this is good.
Yeah,
this is really cool. It's like an Intoxicated year in review.
Yeah.
The weekend that the Oscars were going to come out, they were going to come out on a Sunday. I was editing that episode that weekend. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like, I did not know what the fuck I remember fucking that up so hard. I sat there at the table in my kitchen, like, it was like all day just trying to figure out how to edit. So, tips for people starting a podcast.
Yeah.
Learn that stuff beforehand and don't rely on it. It was just a
mad dash to get that episode out.
It was timing.
Because we wanted to get it out before the Oscars, I remember that.
Yeah. And I remember at one point I lost the sound on my file. I was using like a new program to do it. It was hell. And I remember getting it out a couple hours before the Oscars aired. And yeah. It's just crazy to look back at that.
Yeah, I mean...
It's crazy to look back.
Yeah, but it's insane that was almost a year ago now. Like,
right? Yeah.
It seems like... Yeah, time flies, but also, like, aspects of it seem like happen so fast, and then aspects seem like they happened years ago to me with the whole podcast. Because I didn't really start doing reviews by myself till the summer, probably, like, because we did
figure out the date.
We did leftover, because I know the first one that I edited and I put together everything myself was Spider-Man Homecoming. I know that was the first one that I was on board, but that was recorded with everybody as well. I don't even know if I recorded the audio on that. You may have recorded the audio. The first one I totally did by myself was Drinking Alone on the show Glow. So
yes, that's right.
I mean, I love doing the podcast regardless if people like it or not, like trying to change my talk cadence, but it's been fun. I mean, I can't really say much more than that. And
essentially with reviews, like okay, so here's something that's very obvious about me. I love The Leftovers. So at the time that The Leftovers season 3 was going to come out, we did a Leftovers season 1, season 2 kind of like, I don't know, trying to convince people to watch it kind of episode on Intoxicated.
Like a love letter, I think we call it to Leftovers.
Ew. That makes my heart hurt. And that was a lot of fun. And I remember you and me just being like, why don't we just like do season 3? And I remember just thinking like, yeah, that'd be fun, but like I don't want to annoy my listeners with like in case they don't like The Leftovers. So we were like, you know, like, this was really easy to start, because at the time, I think we were on SoundCloud. I don't even think we were on Libsyn at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, it was pretty easy to set up, and now that I know how to do it, it'd be pretty easy to set up another channel.
Yeah.
And then, essentially, reviews started, because we wanted to recap every episode of The Leftovers.
Yes.
And I don't even think at that time we had plans for it after that. I think we wanted to do...
Yeah, we were talking about maybe, like, jumping show to show. Like, there was really no plan going forward. It was kind of like, we don't want... Because doing something like The Leftovers is so specific that it just kind of... I don't know.
It was kind of selfish on our end. Like,
it was.
I think... You know what I think it was? Us growing our legs a bit.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Like, the fact that, like, we did a whole season of TV. I'm going to brag up reviews here, because that's impressive for, like, a new podcast, I think.
Yes.
We are such fucking narcissists.
But also, it is kind of a thing where it's, like, with The Leftovers, too, you got to understand... We were doing it, and, like, not all of us were in every episode. Well, I think you were in every episode.
I was in every episode. It was, like, a combo of me, Corey, and Evan, essentially, the whole time.
And the three of us could not have worked polar opposite schedules. Like, it was literally, like, watch it, do you have an hour and a half to record? Cool, let's do this. Like, it became this, like, I may not be here for this, I may not be here for that. But
it was hard.
We just kind of made it work. I mean, especially...
Super impressive.
Yeah, I mean... And, like, you can kind of see the progression through reviews, too, because it's a bunch of leftover episodes, and then we did this thing called Small Toxicated, which was on Guardians of the Galaxy, which we recorded after an episode of...
I think it was after the Leftovers finale, wasn't it?
No. Are you sure? Small Toxicated was when we did a movie group episode, because the only reason I remember is me and Evan reviewed it, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and... because we both watched it, and Sarah and Jen were sitting in the corner in chairs, like, critiquing us about, or like making fun of us as we reviewed it. So that's when Intoxicated Reviews had like, wait, we can do other things. Like, this is how we expand. Yeah. Then there's a few episodes that I'm not on, but it's big. You did Big Brother and Survivor with Jesse, who was in Intoxicated Podcast.
And on Turbo's Quest, shout out.
Yeah, Turbo's Quest. And also Nikki was on it, she was on the Canada Day episode.
Yeah.
And shout out to Nikki.
Shout out to Nikki.
In my book group.
Oh,
we have a Facebook book group. It's awesome.
I'm not jealous at all.
No, we just gotta read books.
I don't into books.
But also so yeah, and then in between that and the finale, we squeezed, like, the Wonder Woman episode was like the basis of going forward. And that being said, Wonder Woman was a basis, but also Intoxicated, the Intoxicated podcast with the movie group, that kind of set the template.
For sure.
Because, and like I said, probably in my heart and probably on the internet for the most part, the biggest movie review podcast is How Did This Get Made, which I love. Mm-hmm. But I thought in my heart, I was like, I don't want to copy it.
Of course.
I want, and it's pretty much copy, but I never heard a podcast like this before. But I just thought to do something different because I want to be a little different. In the movie group, we started we broke down movies for the movie group scene by scene.
We really don't miss. And here's something again. I'm just gonna spread the compliments to Corey because you're so good at recaps. Corey takes extensive notes. Like I'm talking like, double digits
pretty much, yeah.
of notes. Like you're so good at recapping it. And you've gotten even better at it. And it's a combo of that and being funny that I think makes it
well, that's where I think also the podcast took a life of its own too, because my best friend happens to be a stand-up comedian. And we've done a lot of good episodes, but I feel like the 90s proof and the 80s proof and all the stuff I do with Brian is great because we've known each other for most of our lives, and you have that comedic presence. Mm-hmm. And that's when and don't get me wrong, I'm proud of every episode I put out and with everybody, but some of the episodes I think are the funniest are me and Brian, but also some of the greatest bumps we got on the podcast is that Brian. And through Brian, I know a lot of stand-up comedians. And probably the biggest one, the biggest one is Peter White. And Peter White's, I've known Peter White for a while through Brian. He's an amazing guy. And he's a stand-up comedian. He went super viral this year, even though he's been a writer on The Satirize 22 Minutes, everything else that slips my mind. But
it really blew up. So he has a video about the problem with homophobia. I don't remember what it's called, but it's about homophobia.
Yeah. And also it's about sexism and how guys... And it was a stand-up clip from the I think it's Calgary Comedy Fest. And it went viral, which is awesome because he's always been super funny. But that being said, it was so weird. Right after we recorded the podcast and during the podcast, he's like, I had a YouTube video that did... pretty well, and right after that, it just blew up like crazy.
Friggin' Cersei Lannister posted his it's really, really fucking cool. So you have a couple connections with local comedians in Halifax.
That's a lot to do with Brian's as well. But the podcast has taken another form after we have these comics on, we had Jared Campbell, who's hilarious as well, Mike McQueen. So I mean, that's a lot of that going forward. But I can't be it's just weird that I have a platform. We built this platform up that I can bring people like this on, and just kind of it's been surreal. It's just been a surreal year.
It's crazy. It really is crazy how far it's come.
Yeah,
and I think there was definitely a shift with reviews where I started using we and not I.
Yeah.
When we would talk about it, I was like, we need to do that. And I was just like, this is a team now. We're a team, and we have these awesome friends that come in consistently and help us. And we have comedian, we're creating this kind of network. And with Corey, it was just kind of do you want to just have it, Corey? I can't do 2 episodes a week all the time.
Well, that was insane because you were at one point. At one point, you were anybody can start a podcast, but that factors in time, editing. Oh my God, it's so time consuming, and getting topics, getting people. It's sometimes and last minute bailout. So even when you were running 2, that's mind blowing to me because I run this 1 now, and it's still mind blowing.
And you still do the things that I did when I was running 2. I typically record my Intoxicated. I get them edited on the weekend. When we were doing the leftovers, I was recording and turning it around in a day.
Yeah.
And Corey still does that to this day on reviews because you have to take into consideration timing of when the guest can do it, and if something comes up, and then I can't do it till this day, but I want to release on this day, so I have to not sleep. Yeah, essentially.
Well, that's it. We kind of figured out. I like reviews should come out Tuesday or Wednesday, preferably Tuesday. Like, and then Intoxicated podcast usually is Thursday, Friday. That being said, I released an episode recently on Thursday. It was the Christmas episode. But that being said, I didn't tell you this, but I like it. Just like it's a Christmas season. We obviously we don't make money off this, so we
diddly squat.
So so as of now we don't, but we work other jobs. Obviously, I work 2 jobs and plus do this podcast. But that, and not to be like, oh, woe is me, because it's not woe is me. I love doing this. But Thursday,
I have a gun to his head right now.
Wednesday, I was editing it like 2:00 in the morning to get it up for Thursday morning because I was 2 days kind of past due, and I actually fell asleep editing. I woke up in my computer chair. I was totally asleep, and like. I didn't even go back. I just sat up and edited the rest of the episode and then had to go back and find where I didn't edit. And anyway, it's been
Can't
amazing.
say that's never happened. This has never happened to me. But we've both pulled some fucking late nights because of this fucking podcast that we're talking about. But no, seriously, like it's really, really cool. And I guess before we get into what we were originally going to talk about, which
we were like
best of pop culture of 2017, because we are with the host of Intoxicated Reviews, so it's very fitting. But what was your favorite moment in doing reviews? Like when you look, like, okay, I guess I'll reframe the question. If you could pick one episode for a new listener to check out.
Okay. I think
I know what it is.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious what my episode is. It's the one I tell all my friends, but it's the It episode. It's called Rebottle on It, Stephen King's It. That's the episode. Like I said, we have Peter White on. And it's me, Bryant, Peter White, and we talk about it. And it just kind of took a life of its own. We were kind of worried about it because that's the thing with podcasting with my friends, like my good friends. It's like, okay, you start drinking and it's just guys having conversations. So we get a little like offensive in a weird way, but it's all within the podcast. But it just turned out and not to be vain, but I go back and listen to the episode and laugh my ass off on it because it's really funny. It's kind of offensive, but that's if you're gonna listen to any, it's Rebottle.
For sure. And I was getting texts live from that recording when it was happening. You were just like, this is crazy. This is awesome.
What about you? What's
God, it's so fucking hard for me to like. I've run such a gamut with mine. Like, I guess when I think about the one I'm most proud of, it would be the Us 2 episode. That's the one I'm most proud of.
Yeah.
But oh my God, they've all just been so much fun. Like, people ask me that, and I'm like, I literally don't have a favorite. Like, I've had fun on every single episode I've done.
I think that's why I think that's what makes Intoxicated podcasts so unique, is that you can listen to the episode and it's like I listened to the Us 2. I mean, it's a hard listen, but also you can have something super, like, you hit so many points, like it can be something different every week, but not deviate from the original idea of it. So I think
exactly, which is essentially just that people have to sit down and talk about stuff, and alcohol can make it easier. So like covering these topics that are a little bit harder becomes a bit easier for whatever reason. Yeah. And it's also too, like, I have different subjects every week, but I think a common thing is friendship and alcohol. That's the bare bones of Intoxicated. We're not always drunk, but there's always
but also
a booze thing.
That's kind of like the culture of Intoxicated. Yeah. It's like a conversation with friends. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's about movies, sometimes it's about your personal life, sometimes it's about Christmas. It can be anything. It's just it's a mic in front of friends, and that's kind of why I like. It's
like you're drunk. Like you're a fly on the wall for a drunk conversation.
Before we get into anything review, like our year in review, which we're half an hour in.
See, this is toxic. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
And cheers to you.
I almost grabbed the mic and cheered you with it.
Wouldn't be the first
I should
time.
take a drink. That being said, before we get out of us talking about our own podcast,
we're just such
another thank you. Like, Intoxicated Reviews hit number 1 on Canada Film and TV. It was in the top 15. Intoxicated hit like in the top
32. Was I think that?
I thought you got higher than that. But anyway, obviously, if you're listening right now and you've listened to this past, like, it warms our heart just to find out that we have any fans, like, that will listen to us talk about anything. It's hard to explain in words, obviously, but yeah, I mean, it's mind-blowing. Like, seriously, if you're listening and you want us to talk about something, anything,
let us know. If you send it to us,
we will.
We will do it. There's nothing we won't do. I just like to give back somehow, even like anything, like 100%.
That being said, if you tell me to review like all the season of Frasier, I probably won't do it. But just
keep it up with the Kardashians.
I would never.
Should I create like a fake email address and comment?
You should totally do that. I will not do that within reason, but I just want to say thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
It's really nice to kind of think about the year. Because I'll be completely fucking honest. 2017 was really shitty for the world, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, having this show was the highlight of my year. I know 100%.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does bring its own stresses, but at the end of the day, it brings more positivity in my life than... I enjoy doing this, and like we said, we don't make a dime off anything, but... No. I just enjoy this. So if you enjoyed it, just warmed my heart. But this is, and Sarah put this out to me before. It's just like, you should, like, I have these conversations every week with my friends talking about movies, ripping down movies or building up movies. Why don't you have a mic in your front of your face? And you guys are giving me the opportunity by listening to put a mic in front of my face and put my opinions out there. Now, I get my opinions. Sometimes they're not popular, but I mean, I'm just, if I anger you, I'm sorry, but it's just
if he angers you, argue with him.
No, I will. We should debate.
100%. And this is why I'm glad Corey's here, because I plug his show every week anyways, but hearing from you, and if you are someone who listens to like Intoxicated and you haven't quite gotten into reviews yet, please go subscribe to Intoxicated Reviews, because we got some, and this is the last podcast thing I'll bring up. But what do we have to look forward to next year? Because you and I have some... we have some ideas. Like we have a Mr. Robot episode coming out in January.
That was recorded. That's amazing. There is a Star Wars coming up, but also it fell near the end of the year. We're trying to do some things for the holidays or everything. So eventually you get Star Wars, but I mean, big things coming on Intoxicated Reviews as well. Like we have where we live, we have a comedy fest. We're going to have a lot of comedians in the new year. The return of Pete White is going to happen sooner than later.
It is happening!
Yeah, so, I mean, if you love those 3-man episodes, are amazing. If you tuned into the American Ninja episode, Mike McQueen, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff with him. Hilarious guy as well. So, I mean...
More stand-ups, more guests.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think it's safe to say that, like, reviews will always be... You know, you're going to talk about the movies that you love, like the nostalgic factor, but also like any current movies that come out, you'll probably cover as well.
Yeah. So the blockbusters. When summer rolls around, we're probably going to be doing a lot more of current reviews. But if you like old school 90s reviews, they're
Intoxicated Reviews is the place to be. Fucking subscribe.
Yes.
On that subject, I guess we're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to talk about...
Let's get to our topic over half an hour into the podcast.
Let's get to the originally scheduled topic. So we're going to go over some lists here I have pulled up from The Verge, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah.
Incredible website.
We're just going to go through some...
the top TV shows of 2017. Also some movies. Twin Peaks The Return.
Yes.
I've never watched it, so I have nothing to say about that.
Do you not watch like the original one either?
But I feel like I should.
The original's really good. The last season, well, it was 2 seasons, I think. Twin Peaks. I'm pretty sure I remember a long time ago. Second season wasn't great, but season 1 was amazing. I'm not finished Twin Peaks Returns. It is a fever dream of a show. It always has been.
That sounds right up my alley.
It borders on nonsensical, but also brilliant in a way.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. I know we're going to bullet shoot some of these. It's weird. Like, I can talk about certain shows. This one I don't want to talk about too much, just on the fact that I may spoil some stuff, and I'm not done.
That's true.
But,
that's very true.
Yeah, Twin Peaks: The Return, definitely.
I mean, like, it's just one of those shows that, like, if I ever was just, like, in bed, like, on Twitter, I would always see it trending. Like, it just seems like one of those shows that, like, everyone always talks about.
It's hit, like, the pop culture zeitgeist in a weird way. Like, it's part of... Mm-hmm. Even if you've never watched Twin Peaks, you know what Twin Peaks is. Like,
that's very true.
Like, it's just one of those shows that people love to talk about, even though they've never watched it.
That's very true. Maybe I should watch it. I mean, winter is coming and I'm going to be locked inside anyway. I might as well go crazy while doing so.
I know Halt and Catch Fire. Everybody needs to watch Halt and Catch Fire.
Okay, so I have a story about this because I've never heard of it.
Okay.
But I watched a YouTube video. I found a random YouTube video of this band I like called The Bleachers, and they did like a music video with like one of their songs with scenes intercut from this show.
Halt and Catch Fire?
Yeah, so I don't know the show at all. I don't know what the fuck it even is about, but it looks cool.
Halt and Catch Fire. It's kind of about the technological boom in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So where season 1 is about season 1's about the race to basically the laptop or the personal computer.
Right.
Season 2 is more about streaming games in the 80s, but
damn.
It's just a really good show. I will say it's a slow burn, but people should check it out. I know in Canada here it's on Netflix.
Oh, good.
So check it out. It's one of those shows that builds up tension.
I like
it's
it.
Brilliant. And
I do feel like, even just looking at the image, I'm like, this is up my alley.
Yeah.
It seems like a Sarah show. This little show called The Leftovers. I'm going to link to this article, by the way, guys, so you can kind of keep up with it. But... yeah.
Oh, well, we said everything.
Reviews was born because of The Leftovers.
Which is great.
So, watch the fucking Leftovers. Justin throws, if not anything else, Justin throws really fun to look at. And,
but it's one of the most, it's like the performances, the writing. It's just, if you're looking for something that is a show that's brilliant, but also if you're looking for something that is outside the norm of anything you're watching right now, it's The Leftovers. It's sometimes a hard watch emotionally, but it's brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. It's my favorite show, I think. Yeah. Like I will be buried with the show.
If you've never watched it and you go back in and you give it a chance and you get addicted, which I think you will, by the time you hit season 3, go back to Intoxicated Reviews and you can go episode by episode with us because we break down every single episode.
And I cried at the end.
Yeah.
I cried. That was like one of the most emotional days recording the finale episode for reviews.
It was.
Because I was like, it was a mixture of things of like, I'm sad my favorite show is ending. But like I thoroughly enjoyed it's only 3 seasons, guys. It's 3 seasons.
Episodes too.
It's such an easy show to just binge too, I would imagine. But
I think season 1's 8 and then 10 and 10.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's really not that much.
Short season, so you can get through it.
And they ended on their own terms, and it's just fantastic. But that day, I was just like, I didn't know what was going to happen with reviews. I didn't know if he would be doing it again.
It's weird, yeah.
It was this weird thing of like, I get the boys like mugs that had really pixelated images of.
No, they turned out fun. I drink out of that mug almost every day.
But it's just so pixelated and shitty.
I didn't think it turned out shitty, but anyway, yeah, that's it. I guess that it's nice that a show that we love will be always a stamp on the podcast as well, because The Leftovers is why reviews is happening in a weird way.
Isn't
that's
crazy?
awesome. Yeah. So Lindelof, I owe you $5 or something. I don't know.
And I'm just going to make a quick side note. They're never quick, but Damon Lindelof is my dream guest to ever talk to you on a podcast. So if this ever gets big where I can actually speak to that man, I will be able to die happy. He's my dream guest. And like, I have a lot of dream guests. I want to talk to Shane Dawson. There's so many people I want to have on, but like Damon Lindelof is like my number one. He's like my guest goals. Do you have a guest goals? I think other than Ben Affleck, because I know you're gonna say.
Then no.
Is he really the person you'd want to do a podcast with?
Like my
who's your ultimate?
Oh, Affleck's got to be up there, though. But that's a tough question. I don't think I could answer it. Really.
Paul Scheer.
Oh, No, it'd be Mantzoukas. Jason Mantzoukas.
Oh, my God, 100%!
Yeah, it'd be Jason Mantzoukas.
Okay, so moving on.
Moving along.
Mindhunter!
I'm halfway through. It's really good.
Yeah, Mindhunter is awesome.
Yeah.
I heard about Mindhunter from My Favorite Murder. Like they brought it up and they were like, we're watching the show. What's funny about this is Mindhunter came after The Leftovers, but when I was watching Mindhunter, one of the female characters in it, I was like, she looks like Carrie Coon light. I was like, she's Nora Durst light. And I watched this interview. The Leftovers are on a bunch of lists for like the best TV shows of the year. Like, across the board. And there was this interview with Carrie Coon being like talking about how she was like in the same kind of category as Mindhunter. She's like, yeah, everyone thinks I'm her. And I was like,
are you talking about like the main character's girlfriend?
The detective, like not detective, the other woman.
Anna Toph. The one that's like kind of their boss.
Yes.
Yeah, she was from Fringe. She's Rupert Murdoch. She's related to Rupert Murdoch, which is kind of, I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, I won't get on that. But that's...
She reminded me of Carrie Coon.
Okay, good.
And then Carrie Coon essentially like said in an interview being like, I've been on 2 big TV shows of 2017, Fargo and The Leftovers, but people think it's 3 because they think I'm in Mindhunter.
I will say too, but back to the main character's girlfriend, which it's terrible. I have no names in front of me.
Yeah,
she is Paul Gross's daughter. Paul Gross being famous Canadian actor who was on Due South and a bunch of other things. Men with Brooms.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I mean that means nothing.
Mindhunter is great.
It's
the
amazing.
only criticisms that I've heard about it is like the side story stuff, like could be left out.
I guess I should say something about like I haven't finished it, but I love Mindhunter. The one thing I can say about which is I think it's a positive, even though it may sound like a negative. But when I went in, I thought it was one thing. I was like, oh, it's going to be people hunting serial killers, but no, it's about the history of the FBI kind of
changing how
they profile serial killers.
Exactly.
Like it's this history and breaking these stereotypes, like that these people that are arrested are not worth researching, which these two guys like. So, and I mean, it's a David Fincher produced show, and David Fincher's my favorite director. It's great. Co-favorite director. But that being said, like, he's amazing. We have the guy who plays not the main character, but the main character's partner. He's like a David Fincher, like original actor, and he's amazing. Even though he was in Justice League, and his part in Justice League was terrible. But that being said, check out Mindhunters.
Mindhunters great, and just a quick side note.
Just a quick set.
Main character Jonathan Groff, I think his name is also in one of the most underrated HBO shows, Looking, which is like I think 1 or 2 seasons. It got canceled. Fucking fantastic. I love him, and I'm very attracted to him. So
yeah, nice.
But he played a gay man in that show. Still attracted to him. Moving along. Ooh, this is one you know about. Though.
I do. Haven't watched no season.
Better Call Saul is on the list as well.
Yeah, I like Better Call Saul. That being said, I'm not caught up with it.
Right.
But it's one of those things where like very few spin-off shows actually are good enough to keep going because this is a spin-off of Breaking Bad. And I love what I've seen so far. Like, I watched so much shit. Some shit takes a backseat. Like, it's pretty bad. But I love Better Call Saul. Haven't watched the newest season, so...
I'm convinced Corey's a robot because he works 2 jobs, does the podcast, has, like, a decent social life. I don't know. And you watch everything.
I watch a lot.
Like, for real, guys, if there's some obscure show that you're like, I wonder if Corey, like, message us. He's probably watched it.
I'll get on some Hard Dixie. If you want to talk about Hard Dixie, I could talk about that all day long.
What? Did you say Hard Dicks?
No, Heart of Dixie. That had Rachel Bilson.
Did I skip
from
it?
the OC.
Oh, okay.
It's not. It won't make any list.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. We're learning a lot about this.
Yeah.
Fargo.
I haven't caught up on. That's another one I haven't caught up on the new season, but
it's on my short list of shows I need to watch.
Yeah,
100% because I keep hearing things about it. I love Carrie Coon. Carrie Coon is like obviously I fell in love with her with The Leftovers. I need to watch Fargo.
Yeah.
I've across the board have heard amazing things about the show.
Yeah, season 1 was amazing, but I haven't caught up on the others. But
maybe it's a future.
Oh no, I will catch up on it. Like I said, it's on my list.
Right.
The Good Place. The Good Place is amazing.
Yes.
It's really fun. Like Ted Danson, I will at this point I'll watch Ted Danson in anything. If nobody's watched the show Bored to Death.
Oh, I was just gonna mention it. It's so good.
Yeah, Bored to Death. Good. Go back and watch Bored to Death. It's Jonathan Schwartzman starring, but also the co-stars are Ted Danson and Zach Galifianakis. Right when Zach Galifianakis did huge. The show's hilarious. The HBO show. Go check it out.
I want to rewatch that now.
Yeah, it's so good.
Because it was so long ago that I watched it.
Yeah.
But I love me some Ted Danson. And I love me some Christian Bell.
Oh, I'm a huge Christian Bell.
Yeah, so is Kurt.
Oh, that sucks.
Corey just slow blinked. So, like holding in his
Don't
range.
ruin this for me. Don't ruin this. This is going to be Outlander. And I'm not a big Outlander fan.
My mom watches Outlander. And
really? Because there's some, like, okay, I've seen parts of Outlander where I'm just like, oh, is that a guy, like, raping another guy? And I'm like, wow, this show is
I'll never forget it though.
Chain.
Mom raved about it once, like at a dinner, and she just goes, "There's a lot of hot sex in it." I was just like, "Oh God!"
Yeah.
Oh, this is a show we can talk about.
Oh.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
This show should be so much more popular than I feel like it actually is.
Right?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is amazing. Like,
oh, it's unreal.
Holt's one of the greatest characters. Hitchcock Scully. It's so good. Like, watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I think you said it right. I don't think enough people realize how good it is.
Yeah.
But like almost every time I suggest it to somebody to watch, they always end up loving it.
Oh, yeah.
I remember, shout out to Andrea. Andrea is watching it right now. And like, I slowly got her into it when we were living together. Like, I would show her an episode here and there. And like, now she's like binging it.
Well, that's the thing with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, too. It's one of those shows in the vein of a Parks and Rec where the first season's not amazing. Mm-hmm. But it gets, once the characters kind of like, when the actors get a feel for the characters and the writers, it takes a life of its own. It's amazing. It's got an all-star cast, pretty much. Like, Terry Crews, Andy Samberg, like, oh God! Now I'm drawing.
I don't know.
Chelsea Peretti.
To me, they're just their characters.
Yeah, Chelsea Peretti. Anyway, it's so good,
and it's so like when I think of shows that are like my humor, it's my humor.
Yeah,
like it's that random like Boyle is like anything Boyle does just makes me actually belly laugh.
Yeah,
like I will actually have a guttural like belly laugh whenever.
But also, it's a great show that there's so many diverse characters that it's great to talk about friends with, because it's like my favorite's this, my favorite character's this. Like every character, like you can say Boyle, I'll say Holt, like or like Hitchcock or Scully. Like, it's just...
And it can change, too. Like, in some seasons, you might like a character better than...
But everybody has a very distinctive comedic presence that is different than everybody else. It's, Brooklyn... It's in the vein, if you like The Office, if you liked Parks and Rec, if you like any of those ones.
I think it's a consistent show.
Yeah.
It's been consistent. There hasn't been any bad seasons of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah. Other than the first one took a little while to get going, but I will still watch that show front to back.
Watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine! Nine-Nine!
The Deuce.
So I know that like there's like some good boobs in this show.
Oh, The Deuce is it's a really fucked up show. It takes place in it takes place in the 70s. It has to do with like the sex industry, if it be porn or be like sex workers.
James Franco.
Yeah, it is 100% a hard watch, but
why is it hard? Is it hard in the sense of like slow?
No. It's a realistic view of sex work in the 70s. So
just brutal. Kind of more brutal.
And it is an equal opportunity show, so you'll see boobs and you'll see bush, but you'll see penis as well, so it hits all the three. Hits three.
He says while he shakes his head.
I know. Hits all four, I guess, because you see butts too. But
is it James Franco penis?
No.
Okay.
It's not. But there's other ones there.
There's other ones. I do want to check it out at some point.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a hard watch. Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is quite possibly could be the smartest show on TV.
That's a lofty statement. Okay, and I'm saying this because I watch like Leftovers and Mr. Robot. To me, I think those are smart shows. But okay, like I want to preface this by saying like my feelings on the show are not popular. But I can't deny that like I have seen this show gets such critical like acclaim. Like critics love it. Like I don't know. Like it makes sense that it's smart, but I just don't.
And you have to break that ceiling of anime because you're not on board with animated shows first. So I get that.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
and I think I need to really give it a real chance. Rather than watching 2 episodes because I want to get laid.
But anyway.
I don't care.
You have to cut that out.
No, I actually don't care. I thought about it today and I was like...
I will say, Rick and Morty, because on the basis if you watch it, there's a lot of immature humor in it. But the greatest thing is that, like, they dumb everything down, but the smart humor in it is almost so unsuspecting, but it's there. And it's hard to put in that way, but there's episodes that are just mind-blowingly smart that you may not know till you sit back and reminisce on it, being like, holy shit, they thought of this or they thought of that. Like,
right.
And everybody raves about the episode. It was this season. It's called, originally it's called the Rick Lantius mix-up, but that was a fooling thing. The episode's really called Tales from the Citadel, but and you gotta kind of know that to understand anything I'm saying right now, because I know I'm just throwing a bunch of stuff out. But that being said, it's all about the fact that they use Rick and Morty's... Oh, you gotta know the show. Like, I'm trying to explain it, but it's this whole episode about the class system and how people... It's really an allegory for racism and prejudice, but it's done in a weird comedic fashion that is so smart that you don't really realize that you are...
Right.
It's basically like, we understand this on a level, and that really goes down to Dan Harmon. Dan Harmon's a writer. If you don't know who Dan Harmon is, he wrote Community, but he's one of those guys that I feel like, and I may be praising him too much, but it feels like he's that level of genius and madness. Like, he's kind of an alcoholic madman, which is well documented. He has a documentary literally about himself and how much of a alcoholic madman he is, but how much of a genius he is too. And it's just, like I said, I don't want to dwell on it too much. There is a Rick and Morty episode. We did a wine list on season 3. Go back and listen to our thoughts on it. But Rick and Morty is, even though you don't think it's smart, I truly believe it's one of the smartest shows on television.
And that's the thing, like, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, when I talk about the show, I don't necessarily like bash it to the ground. It's just like I'm not necessarily enjoying it, but I can fucking appreciate what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I get it.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, maybe I just need to watch more.
Give it a real chance.
When I watch, like, there are times that I'm like, oh, that was funny. It's just like, I'm not consistently laughing throughout the whole show.
You're wrong, but let's keep going.
Stranger Things.
Oh, Stranger Things. That is, yeah.
Okay, I never actually talked about you about season 2.
No, I don't think we,
What did you think of season 2?
I love season, I was humming, like, I didn't love it. I thought because when season 1 happened, it was one of those things that was such a big show that I was like, you can't top it. Don't even try. You're gonna ruin it. But then I watched season 2 and I was like, I shouldn't say it didn't up the bar, but it didn't disappoint.
I agree. I wasn't blown away, but I wasn't disappointed.
Yeah. And I thought bringing new characters, like I love Sean Astin. I thought he was amazing in it.
Yeah.
As like the stepdad who's actually kind of cool. And Steve. I love Steve. And they Steve is like the hero
Steve.
of the season. There's not much more I think anybody can say about Stranger Things. It just consistently 2 seasons of consistently great. And I know that's my genre of show as well. Like that's what I didn't grow up in I was born in the 80s, I didn't grow up in the 80s, but still that nostalgia is with me.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like this season was like you said, it wasn't disappointing, but it wasn't mind-blowing either. Yeah. It was funnier, I thought.
Yes.
I thought it was like slightly funnier than the first season.
It was. This season I found. I can't even remember his name. That sucks because I remember everybody's name on the show and I lost it. But
the main guy,
the guy with the front teeth, or he got new teeth in it. I thought he was more annoying this season, but
right.
That being said, no, I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the end of the list. But
the Verge's list is weird.
There was another list that I liked better, and I should have pulled that one up. But do you have any honorable mentions, like on your end of shows
God. Like, don't even. We could have started that way because these shows, like a lot of these ones, I watch in passing. I can go quickly. I'm still a fan of Walking Dead, even though I know a lot of people have falling off that. I know I really like this season. I'm a superhero mark, so Flash, Arrow, like I love those shows still, even though the quality's gone down. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think they had a good bounce back season. Oh, this is a tough question. Like I can literally do this for
Cora's really stressed out right now.
Oh, like Mr. Robot wasn't on that list.
I was waiting for you to say it.
Yeah.
Mr. Robot was on a couple other lists that I found, but it wasn't on this one. But just wait for our Mr. Robot episode.
Yeah.
Mr. Robot is, I would say, on my top 5 favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, Mr. Robot is, it's like nothing else out there, I guess.
No, like there's nothing out there like it.
And it's a brilliant show. Yeah, like I said, like tune into Intoxicated Reviews. We do an episode and we
talk about season 3. So between now and January, watch Mr. Robot. Yeah, first, like catch up on it because it's so fucking good. Yeah. It deserves all the. I just feel like, is it Remy or Rami Malek? I can never say his name.
Rami Malek? I don't know. Rami.
Yeah, he's just. He needs all the awards.
Yeah.
He needs to win them all.
Yeah.
That's just all I'm saying about that. The acting is just some of the best acting ever.
Yeah, so we're now dealing with Up Rocks with their best 20 movies. We're not going to do 20 TV shows. We're not going to do all of them, but we want to touch on a few other ones that maybe weren't on the first list.
Yeah. Honorable mentions.
Or
mentions that should have been on the first list.
Yeah, that we kind of like forgot about, and then we're like, oh wait, no, these we should mention. Do you want to talk about girls? Because I know I don't want to talk about girls.
I will just give my quick 2 cents on Girls. Girls is a show that I love. The way that they handled the final season was extremely disappointing to me. And I say this, like, very honestly, being someone who very much so loves girls, and I don't give a shit what people say about the characters being unlikable. I'm looking at you.
Oh, the characters.
They are unlikable, but they're real, and that's why I like them.
They're real annoying.
No.
But one thing I always have to prefix when I rip girls apart, because I'm not a huge girls fan, but I am actually a fan of Lena Dunham. I'm not one of those haters of Lena Dunham. I think she's a very funny, very talented person. I just don't like girls.
100%. She favorited a tweet of mine once. And
Kevin Smith has liked a tweet of yours and a tweet of mine.
Of me as Wonder Woman on a snowbank.
Wow. He favored something I did too, but I don't remember what it is.
I mean, Kevin Smith...
That's
Kevin
my dream.
Smith and my ex-boyfriend, like... had a moment at one of the live shows he did here in Halifax. But
wow. I'm the hugest Kevin Smith mark. When I said earlier in the podcast...
Let's get Kevin Smith on! He should be our like, Gus goals.
I would die.
He doesn't drink though, does he?
He smokes a ton of weed. So.
Soon enough,
Kevin Smith, do you want to help us out? I love you so much. I bought so many of your shit.
I also love Kevin Smith. When you went live this week to talk about Star Wars, which I haven't even seen the latest Star Wars, I still watched your Facebook Live about Star Wars, even though I haven't seen the movie, because I just like hearing you talk. I think like Kevin Smith is like...
It's amazing. Like,
it's where all podcasters come from. Yeah. Because Kevin Smith did it.
Yeah.
I think.
But it's so funny, and I can do a whole episode on Kevin Smith because I love him so much.
Reviewing Kevin Smith.
100%, but like, he is the guy now in my books, and I know he has his detractors out there, but he just seems like a guy you want to have a conversation with. For me, who talks about nerdy movies and comic books and stuff, he's the guy that I would love just to sit down and be like, and just do what we talked about before. Tuesday night ripping on comics or praising comic book movies, TV shows. He's the guy you want in the room, which is funny because...
He might be your ultimate.
Yeah, no, now that I think about it, he is the guy that I would probably most want on the podcast because I think he is like me in a certain way 100%. And can talk for hours about what I love.
Yes, and that's the thing. I just love, even just like his just general podcasts, I could just listen to him talk forever.
Podcasts or even like his stand-up /
fantastic.
Yeah, no. Kevin Smith, I love you.
And just a quick note about like the MeToo stuff and the Harvey Weinstein stuff. He essentially what was it? He's not going to be getting money from any movie he's done with him?
It's any movie he's done for Miramax because yes, he has done that was his big movies. A lot were financed by Miramax, especially like something like Chasing Amy, Dogma. So he has said that any residuals, because whenever it's shown, be it streaming media or whatever checks he gets from Miramax for showing the movie, he's going to donate. And I don't know what charity, but it's probably like. I shouldn't say probably. To a good cause.
Yeah.
He's not going to take any more money from any movies he made that's been produced by Miramax. But he did say one thing to specify about this too is that he said he's not doing it, but nobody should condemn anybody else because he's like, I've made my money. I'm very wealthy.
He's fucking well off.
Yeah. He's like, I'm wealthy. I don't need these residuals. I just think it's a very good thing. But don't anybody who maybe who has been in a movie produced by Harvey Weinstein that is making money off this residuals, don't chastise them for not giving it up. It's just he's like, personally,
this is what I'm doing.
Personally, I don't necessarily need it, so I'm going to do it. And I know because I'm a fan. Ben Affleck has done the exact same thing.
Good. So yeah, we love Kevin Smith. He stepped the fuck up. He's a grade A guy.
But he just
seems like a fucking grade A guy.
And he's kind of in tune with our podcast in a weird way. He's very...
Being fucked up?
Homosexual. I didn't say homosexual because I...
Yeah.
But no, but like...
He's sex positive.
Sex positive, and he's very... He's just very equal rights.
He's tangity, too.
Yes, and he's tangity. But I, at the end of the day, he gets shit on a lot. I think he's a very forward-thinking person, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. So.
I want to hang out... Okay. Yeah, we want to hang out with you, Kevin Smith.
Yeah. I will buy you as much weed as you want to smoke if you come on my podcast or both podcasts.
If you ever come back to Halifax and you want to get high... I will certainly smoke with you because soon enough it'll be legal, and soon enough, folks, we'll be doing high podcasts.
It's not me because I do not smoke weed. I support weed, but I don't.
You'll sit there and drink a beer.
I drink many beers.
But back to girls.
I thought we were done with girls. Aren't we on?
No, I'm not done giving my 2 cents. I will say I love girls.
Alison Williams is the hottest.
Alison Williams is fantastic. Yeah. Adam Driver's.
I like him.
But Girls is a great show. For anyone who checks it out because of me, I'm sorry for like the last half of the last season. It was terrible. I don't like how it ended. I have feelings about that. But on the whole, check out Girls.
Or don't. Watch the ones with Donald Glover because I love Donald Glover.
I hope that she does something else. Like I
like Lena Dunham. I can honestly say I do. Girls but I understand that Girls also is a show that is not, it's not directed towards me as well.
You're not the target audience. Yes. But I feel like, have you watched it in full?
I tried. Not in full.
When you say you tried, was it one episode or like a couple episodes? I
can honestly say I probably watched 3 episodes and it's just not for me. I watched the first 2 and then I watched the first one with Donald Glover and I just couldn't.
It's fucking uncomfortable.
But I understand. I understand that I am not the target audience on that as well. But that being said, it's still terrible.
That being said, I love
Lena Dunham is still I was going to say hot. You know what? Whatever. She's not ugly. Like Lena Dunham is like a lot of people are like, this is a whole nother tangent.
You're on the right show.
But I hate this fucking fact, and this is weird, me being whatever. It doesn't matter, but I hate this fact that Lena Dunham is. I'm slurring because I've been drinking all day long, but she is very open with her nudity as well, and I'm tired of people being like, "Oh, this ugly girl is getting nude on." Like, fuck you, whatever.
Go fuck yourself.
It's not. Yeah, maybe you like I get it. Maybe your sexual attraction's to a girl who's bar thin or like super in shape. But you know what? Don't run somebody down for being open. Like, you don't have to watch Girls. You don't have to watch her get nude on her own show. But you know what? Don't fucking run her down because she is open. Because
she's not the conventional body type.
Exactly. And it drives me fucking crazy. People are just like, look at, this ugly girl's trying to get nude for me. Like, she's getting fucking nude.
Go fuck yourself. You're
lucky if any girl gets nude for you, fucking idiot. And I know that's a very broad
I hit that bell so fucking hard because I couldn't agree more. Ooh. And you don't have to look at her and be like, oh, she's my number one. But you can respect what she's doing.
Yeah,
and the fact that it takes fucking confidence to get naked on camera.
Yeah, you know what? She's doing something good. Being like, you know what? I may not have the body type that is in
like the stereotypical
model body. You know what? But I'm a girl that is not your prototypical magazine body, but you know what? I'm comfortable, and everybody should be comfortable with their nude if they are comfortable with being nude. I should say that too. There's so many but yes,
100%. Because wouldn't you agree that confidence makes you?
Yeah, it makes you attractive. It really does, and it's just one of those things where you know what? She's doing this. You know what? I can get nude, and if you feel like you should get nude, you shouldn't feel bad about it.
Exactly. And boobs are like pizza. There are no bad ones.
I had one bad pizza one time. I thought that till I had a really bad pizza. I was like, oh. But I know the analogy, but that's what I'm saying.
Pizza or nothing.
Yeah. No, trust me, the one piece I had, I would rather nothing. But for the analogy wise, just forget what I said there. But anyway.
Anyways, Corey doesn't. Girls is not for Corey, but you can also respect the show on some.
I appreciate. I can understand maybe how people would like it. I've said enough nice things about Lena Dunham. Yeah, so let's just keep going.
Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale was really good. I kind of hated the ending though, but it was good. Like I really like it.
I really, really, really enjoyed Handmaid's Tale. Yeah,
I don't like Elizabeth Moss.
Thank you, because I didn't really like her either, and I didn't like her character.
No, I didn't like her character. I don't like her. Like she's like whatever. Like
not like one-dimensional. I don't really know what's going on here.
Isn't she like a Scientologist, like a hardcore Scientologist?
Oh, you mean the actress? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she is. And she's an okay actress, but I don't know.
I really enjoyed Handmaid's Tale. I was pretty hooked the whole time.
Alexa Bledel is amazing at it.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
did you know that she was in a Less Than Jake music video?
I did not know that, but that doesn't surprise me either. I almost got half insulted that you're like, did you know that she was on... Yes, I know she's on Gilmore Girls. I love that show. Please don't actually think I never watched Gilmore Girls.
No, but like last night I got nostalgic and I went back to a Less Than Jake album that I loved in high school.
I like how you throw that in the universe, like people just like, oh yeah, totally Less Than Jake. Like
I love Less Than Jake.
Like I know who they are, but I would think that only 20% of her listening.
She was in a music video called She's Gonna Break Soon, and she plays like a crazy girl. It's great.
She's also on Mad Men for a while.
Is she really?
For a while she was.
Oh, damn.
Is she really? No, that show's been done for a while, but she was.
Oh my god. Anyway. I enjoyed it. It's not a show that like... It's kind of one of those shows that I'm not standing from the rooftops and yelling about it. Yeah. Not like Mr. Robot or The Leftovers or like these shows that like really fucking impacted me where I'm like, you know, you only have so many recommendations to make to your friends. Yeah. If I were to make recommendations, it would be Leftovers or Mr. Robot. Those are the shows that I could literally... I could grab you and be like, you need to watch these fucking shows because no one's watching them.
The one thing
everyone's watching Handmaid's Tale.
The one thing I'll say about Handmaid's Tale, even on the fact that like I'm the same way, like I thought it was really good, but I'm
not screaming from the roof.
Yeah, I'm not like you gotta watch it. But the one thing I will say, the mind trippy thing about it is that like Margaret Atwood wrote this so long ago, and it's forward thinking. It's happening so much more. Like
it's relevant now.
It's super relevant.
Yeah.
Things have only got worse, and she almost like in a weird way predicted how bad things have got. And
so true.
That's a mind blowing thing about it, and that's why I think it's so much why people think about it so much, I guess, or talk about it so much.
100%. It's terrifying.
Oh yeah.
It really
not for me. This is a future I can get behind. Just kidding. I could not get behind the future.
One thing I want to say about... I'm picking up the mic now. One thing I will say about Handmaid's Tale is that the actress that played Sarah from Chuck is in it.
Oh, yes. Which I know her name. And it's John Blaine.
It's some name that I can't pronounce. I'll say that. But she's a gorgeous lady. And even though I fucking hated her character in it, she's a good actress.
She's amazing. I love her.
Chuck's a great show.
It's serviceable.
Chuck is why me and Jesse Parsons are friends. Master of None!
I have
What?
I have a lot to say about it.
You don't have a lot to say about it?
I watched like the first episode of the season too.
Master of None. The highlight of Master of None for me is just the fact of how honest it is about dating in this day and age. Maybe that's why, I don't know, I get it because I'm going through it right now. I'm going through the sweat culture, like... Yeah,
it's not that I don't like it, I just haven't got through all of it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I can see
I really thoroughly enjoy Master of None. I know that people say, like, it's awkward comedy, it's awkward to watch.
Yeah, cool.
Whatever, like, get over it.
Get over yourself.
Broad City is amazing, and everyone needs to watch Broad City.
I have to take, like, Broad City I usually have to take a break from.
Nah, not me.
I know you don't. Because, like, I don't know. Like, that's more you than anything.
Yeah. I am Alana. Like, let's be... actually, no, I'm probably more of an Abby.
Yeah, should we talk about the Netflix shows?
Yeah, 100%. Let's fucking do it.
Okay, because Netflix is a whole nother world than, I guess, everything else. Mm-hmm. Can we talk about probably the worst Netflix show that we tried to watch?
Which one are you thinking of?
It's called Disjointed.
Yes, we can. Yes, we fucking can.
Okay.
Karen and Neve, if you're listening, I don't think you are, because I don't think you give a shit. I tried to watch the show.
I gave it one episode.
I was told before we put it on, just ignore the laugh track. Just ignore it and just try to push through it and just try to think of it. And I was told, think of it like it's so bad it's good kind of show. That's how I was introduced to this show.
Yeah, it's not.
And it's not on that level. It's so fucking bad.
I can't do a laugh track. It's a Chuck Lorre laugh track show. And it sucks that Kathy Bates is an amazing actress. Oh my god. Asterisk. She's an amazing asterisk. I've been drinking all day again.
Asterisks on this part. We've been drinking.
The only thing, I feel like it's one of those things, like, we can write anything, and people like smoking weed, so let's do a show about smoking weed. It's fucking terrible.
Thank you so much, and it's so awkward.
Yes.
It's like, let's try to be wacky. Let's try to say things that are like, ha ha ha, we're so high.
Yeah.
It's like, it just falls so fucking short. And I wonder if the laugh track wasn't in it, if I would like it better.
No.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I would.
I think it goes for any... Okay, if we're going into my persona, laugh track shows are fucking terrible because it's telling you gotta laugh here. Like,
except Friends.
That show's terrible. Anyway, but a show like Community that people had to like work for their laughs or think about shit, that's a good show.
That's true.
But it's like Big Bang Theory. It's like... Yes, that's it. It's just like, that's why I said, like, because I think you brought up, you're just like, how do you feel about Young Sheldon? I'm like, you know what? I'm on board with it because it's not a laugh track show. It's a show that, like, you have to work for your laughs, not to tell people, like, oh, people are laughing during this, so I probably should laugh. Like, it's
supposed to be funny, so I should laugh. Yeah. I'm not into it. I tried.
Terrible.
Can't. I'm kind of like, I'm a part-time stoner and I couldn't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Did you this is one we should bring up. Godless. Have you watched Godless?
I have not.
Godless is amazing. I recommend anybody to watch Godless. It's a Western, but the basic premise of it is it's this Wild West town that there's a lot of the men work in a coal mine or a mine, and the mine collapses and kills a bunch of people. So the only thing left is women in this town.
Ooh.
So like there are a few men left, but all the men people in the show are usually, they're not strong personalities. Like they're kind of like younger or like whatever. So the women have to, it's weird because they have to fight a lot of things. Like people coming into town trying to take things over. They have to defend themselves, or like, also, like, there's spoiler alert for Godless, watch it, but like a newspaper finds out about this and it's like, go to this town because there's a bunch of single women that need a strong man to take care of them. But in the town, it's a lot of women that are like, no, we're strong, we're handling shit. Like, stay the fuck out of our town.
Damn, I want to watch.
It's amazing. It's really good.
I'm sold just based on Corey's.
It's super dark, but it is amazing. Amazing show.
No, that sounds fucking.
American Vandal's good. It's like a ripoff of...
I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, it's a ripoff of Making a Murderer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I need to watch... Oh, God, there's so many shows I need to watch.
Like, yeah.
How do you find time? Oh, Glow. Glow, that's the one that we want to talk about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Glow...
Wait, did we talk about it more?
No, we didn't talk about it. Glow's amazing. I whatever. Here's something about me. I love wrestling, but that being said, like Glow's the other side of the coin. It's based on an actual true wrestling federation called Glow. Gorgeous.
That should be a word.
Gorgeous ladies of wrestling. And it is a fictionalized story about it, but it's great. It's great. It's in the way it's like it takes regular personality women who are some actresses, some not, and they're trying to put together a wrestling show to kind of put out to the world. But like it's hard to explain, but it's amazing. I love Alison Brie. I'll watch her in anything.
And you get to see her boobs in it. If what Corey just said didn't persuade you, you will get to see her boobs. And you have an episode about glow.
I do have an episode about glow. I was going to say blow. About glow. Yeah.
Let's talk about cocaine. 5 stars.
Oh, that's a show I want to talk about.
Yeah, like we're going to talk about some shows that we like that maybe didn't make the lists. But let's just scroll down. I don't think.
Yeah. I watched it.
Some shows that maybe didn't make the lists. So Review is one that Corey told me about. That's just absolutely fucking hilarious.
Watch Review. It's amazing.
So it's essentially Forrest McNeil.
Yes, yeah.
And he reviews. So in the show, he essentially has a show. Like it's a show.
It's a review show that he reviews life experiences.
And it's just batshit
crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah, it had its last season this year. He reviews everything over time, like over all the seasons. Like he reviews racism, he reviews shoplifting, he reviews divorce, he reviews eating
pancakes.
All the pancakes. He reviews going to space, but it's
sex tapes.
I can't explain it. All I can explain is just watch it. It's amazing.
It's one of those shows that people don't know about.
Yes,
that's actually good. Yeah.
I can't explain it, just watch.
It has such great rewatch value as well.
Oh, it does.
It's just like one of those shows that like if you have friends over and you're just like looking for something to watch, you can just throw it on and it's like almost guaranteed to make people laugh. So long as they have a shitty, offensive sense of humor, which we do.
And it has an actress on it that I feel like she's not super big, but she's one of the funniest comedians I've ever known. Her name's Jessica St. Clair. She plays Forrest McNeil's wife on the show. And she plays it. She plays on Review. She plays it pretty straight. But look up anything she's in. She's technically an improv comic. She's hilarious. More power to her. She's a person I'm like, she should be bigger than she is. She should be bigger than what she is, yeah. She's amazing. Review's amazing. Watch it. It's amazing.
God damn. So much TV.
I know. Just do what I do and never sleep.
That's just how I assume that like you're actually a robot that just you plug yourself into the wall at the end of the night.
Fucking wish. I'm a human with depression.
I loved Insecure, which is an HBO show.
I heard of it, didn't watch.
It's fantastic. It's about a woman living the whole single life. But like really strong female characters, which I think is like super important.
Yeah.
And totally. I love it. It's great. Watch Insecure. Like if you're like kind of in that realm of like Broad City and girls, like you'll like Insecure. Like it's 100% up your alley.
Also, if I go through guilty pleasures I've had this year, Lethal Weapon, watch that if you're kind of a guy, and if you're kind of a guy, that's weird. Lethal Weapon, The Gifted, Ghosted is really good. I'm just throwing shit out. I'm just throwing.
I've been wanting to watch Ghosted.
Ghosted's good. Like the first 2 episodes, they're finding their footing. Punisher, if we're still going on Netflix, watch Punisher. You know what?
Watch everything.
Just watch everything.
Go and watch everything.
This podcast is too short for me to mention everything I watch. I've been trying to give you the stuff that's worth watching, but I watch some stuff that is not worth watching. But anyway.
Yeah. No, that's very, like, you are like the consumer of media.
I try. I watch a lot of stuff.
You really, really do.
And I don't have that much time to watch anything. Usually I watch something, I wake up 3 o'clock in the morning watching half of it, being like, oh my God, I need to go to bed so I can get energy for my job tomorrow. Anyway.
Listen. We can only do so much. So now we're going to cover some movies. Yes. Get Out. Did you see Get Out?
Yes. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. It's a wild fucking ride, eh?
Yeah, I love Get Out.
Yeah, it's so good.
I'm glad all the press, I guess, it's getting... And it kind of like, I don't know, people, it's under horror, but for me, it's like horror and, I don't know, thriller. Like, yeah, it's just Jordan Peele's directorial debut. Check it out. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to ruin it, but it's a movie that it's scary, it's tension filled, it's hilarious in points. Like,
it's entertaining fucking movie.
Yeah, I fucking love it.
One thing I will say is movies that give you what I call like a theater experience. Like when I watched it in theaters, it reminded, this is a weird comparison, but it reminded me of like, you're gonna laugh. It reminded me of like when I would watch like the Paranormal Activity movies in theaters, like where it was like people were reacting so vocally in the theater, and like you were hearing like grown men like jump, and like I don't know, it's just like, it's kind of rare. I find it rare these days to have 100%. Such a, like an immersive like theater experience like I did with Get Out. Yeah. And it was just a wild fucking ride. Yeah. It was just, that's the only way I can describe it. It's just like keeps you interested the whole time. It's so great. If you haven't seen it, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Watch Get Out. It's so good. Oh, Mother. Oh, God. Corey did a podcast about Mother.
Yeah, if you want to go listen to Drinking Alone on Mother, I get where it's going. It's not a poorly made movie. I wasn't on board with it.
If you couldn't tell from his when I said Mother.
I know, it's and I love Darren Aronofsky. I shouldn't say I love him. I've really enjoyed movies he's done in the past, but Mother does not fall on that list for me.
Fair enough. I haven't seen it. It seems depressing and weird. Maybe if I'm in a dark place, maybe I'll check it out. But I don't know. I mean, I love Jennifer Lawrence. Like,
we'll watch it, but I don't know.
Corey's like,
it's like a film school student trying to do a movie to me, I think. Oh, the one about Wonder Woman? Haven't watched that either.
I really want to see it, though. I'm really curious about this movie.
I'll wait till it comes out on DVD or what, if that's a thing anymore. I'll wait till it comes out on...
I'll wait till the video store has it.
Wait till Blockbuster has it in stock.
I miss those days.
Yeah, I know. Going to rent movies. Just wander around. It's just...
And sometimes you would just go in and you wouldn't even go home with the movie, but you'd just look. Yeah. I miss those days. Wonder Woman. Yeah, the Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Also an episode of Intoxicated Reviews. That was actually a really fun episode that we did. Yeah. Hashtag period piece. Yeah. We could probably talk like for another hour about Wonder Woman.
I mean, Wonder Woman, it's amazing. It's the best unreal DC movie they've put out. And like I said, during that podcast, I factor in every DC movie, even the Dark Knight, Batman, Christopher Nolan movies. I think Wonder Woman is the best. It did lead to something negative in my book, though.
What did it lead to?
It led to... I watched the Justice League movie, and it led to... I'm cool with more Wonder Woman, but in the Justice League movie, because Wonder Woman did so well, they made Wonder Woman more the leader of the Justice League, and Batman got lesser of a role, and I was like, it almost went too much, and that doesn't matter. That happened because Wonder Woman is such a great movie.
And they wanted to make sure that it would be good with Wonder Woman.
Yes.
But... what's funny about Wonder Woman is like I went into it so nervous. I was just like because like when it was coming out, there was like early reports of it sucking. Yeah. And like everyone was so like, this is gonna suck, it's DC, it's gonna suck, they're gonna butcher it. And then it was just so fucking good. Yes. And everybody, like across the board, I have not talked to one fucking person who didn't like Wonder Woman. Yeah.
No, Wonder Woman's amazing.
And I don't usually go to the theater twice, and I saw a movie twice in theaters. Really? I mean, movies are fucking pricey. I hardly go even like once. True enough. Like it's not cheap to go to the movies. No. And I saw it twice, and I still like, even watching it the second time, still fucking cried during like the No Man's Land scene, like, which is to me the scene of the movie.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Go listen to the Wonder Woman episode. Disaster Artist.
I know.
I didn't even scroll down. I just saw James Franco as Tommy Wiseau, and Nate was the... Would you say it was one of the best of 2017, though? Because I don't know if it was.
Yeah, well, we can talk about it.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about what we thought of the movie.
No, because I was going to do a drinking alone, but it sucks because I have such a backlog of stuff right now. I'm just I don't think I could actually fit it in. I was going to do a bonus drinking alone episode about it, but
you have too many. Corey has too many podcasts.
Okay, Disaster Artist. I really like Disaster Artist. It's weird because I feel like I have a connection to The Room being it's been my good bad movie for so many years that I know so much about it that I really enjoy this movie. I think James Franco makes it amazing. Mm-hmm. All the other actors, like so many bit parts in it, like it's filled with a bunch of my favorite people, be it Jason Mantzoukas, Hannibal Buress, Paul Scheer. Hannibal Buress. I love Hannibal Buress. Yeah. But just all these people, and it's really good. But the movie itself, the last 20, 15 minutes, it just kind of lost me in a weird way where I know it's the writer's thing. Like we need an ending by the end of it, but knowing that like it took a while to catch on for people to laugh at it. It also took it just condenses all the afterwards part of it into a very small scene. Mm-hmm. And the problem with the writing aspect of Disaster Artist is Tommy Wiseau is kind of villainized in the end, and then you're supposed to still be on board with him for no reason. Like it was just a very weird ending, or it's just like you're kind of supposed to feel bad for him or supposed to feel good that him and Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero at the end are like kind of friends again, but for no reason whatsoever. There's no redeeming factor about Tommy Wiseau in this movie, which I feel like in real life. And then I know the true story also that Greg Sestero really only did the movie because he needed money and was getting paid for it, where the movie morphs that into like him and Tommy have a pact. So knowing more about the story, it kind of ruined a little bit of it. But that being said, I still highly recommend the movie. It's good. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's good. If it gets you into watching The Room, then more power to it.
I wanted it to be funnier.
Really?
Hear me out. I thought it was fucking hilarious, but I found like the dramatic parts took me out of it a bit. Yeah. There was a lot of dramatic parts.
I would like to see more of them filming the movie.
That's exactly it. Because those parts I thought were fucking hilarious.
Yeah. But it's a lot more of
the backstory and like their relationship.
And I do think, I shouldn't say love, but I do like Dave Franco, but I think I would have much rather seen somebody else play Greg Sestero.
Who would you have picked?
Ooh, that's putting me on the spot. But I would say Chris Pratt, but I know he would never.
Interesting.
But he's a bit, somebody, I don't know. Huh. Anyway.
It's really good. And like The Room is,
watch The Room, yeah.
Watch The Room and listen to our episode
about The Room, which you can catch on Intoxicated Podcast or Intoxicated Reviews because it was reposted there.
It was reposted and remastered. I'm still so proud of that episode, by the way, guys. I'm really proud of that.
All the clips, that was insane.
Yeah. Baby Driver! I promise, guys, this is not just like a constant plug for reviews, but there's also a Baby Driver.
Yeah, there's Drinking Alone on Baby Driver. I put my thoughts out there. It was kind of universally praised, and I liked it too. The performances were spot on. That being said, I maybe because it was Edgar Wright, I had my hopes to the roof. And I thought he could redefine the genre of action like he's redefined the genre of comedy. Didn't happen, but that being said, still a really good movie. Check out my reviews for my thoughts on it.
Yeah, Baby Driver. Is there any other movies we want to mention?
Oh, Jesus, so many. Like, I can't even off the top of my head.
TV this year than movies.
I think
me personally. But.
Yeah, no, I watched a lot of movies, but not. Unfortunately, once the mics go off, I'll think of a million movies.
100%.
But right now, I can't.
I think it was a really good year for TV and movies, though.
Oh, yeah. There was some great
overall.
stuff. Yeah. Well, one off the top of my head, which I would never pick, even though I love the people in it, pick for a movie I love for the whole year. And maybe I'll do an episode on my favorite movies of the year on Intoxicated Reviews. And one movie that will definitely be on there is The Big Sick. The Big Sick.
Oh, yeah.
Kumail Nanjiani. Amazing. It's so funny, and it's such a real depiction of love and tragedy that I could not recommend more. So
okay.
So check that out.
I still haven't watched it.
You'll love it. 100% you'll love it. It's
Ooh,
great.
it's a Corey guarantee.
Yes. Yeah, that gets on a Cujo to Lassie, it's a Lassie. It's up there.
It's a Lassie. Well, geez Louise, that was fun. Let's get into sad stuff.
Let's get into real world stuff, I guess.
So I was telling Corey before we start recording that, like, on a world level, 2017 was pretty shitty. Like, there was a lot of shitty stuff that happened this year. A lot of celebrity deaths, too.
Not as many as last year, though. Like, last year was the shitty year for celebrity deaths.
That's true. I guess the past 2 years have been pretty bad on us.
I don't know. I'm envious sometimes that they left this terrible planet like this year.
Get off of it. I mean, obviously we could here's the thing. I don't know what to say about these mass tragedies that happen. I don't have words to either make it better or, like, I can only react, and I don't do well when I flip on the news and I'm just constantly hearing bad things. It makes me really fucking sad. I feel fucking powerless, as a person. Yeah. And I will put a positive spin on it. I think, like, having this podcast and as people creating content, it's our hope that, like, we can, like, take you away from that and make you laugh. And you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
And I think that that's how it is for podcasts in general, and really anyone creating anything, YouTube and movies and TV are in a way like an escape. From dealing with the shittiness.
I know I have, and you probably have. This year being as shitty as it's been, we do escape into TV, into movies, into something else just to, like, get your mind off. You can't dwell in negativity so long. Like, you gotta find something else.
And I will say, me personally, I think a positive that has come out of this year has been, like, the Women's March and the MeToo Movement. Like, even though it's shitty, I think it's positive in the way of women are talking about this now. Yeah. And women are feeling more empowered. So I actually think this was kind of a big year for women in a way. Well, I feel that personally, but
if you can and, like, obviously I don't speak for women because I'm a male, but as a human being, I think the greatest, I shouldn't say the greatest. If you can take one positive from the Trump administration is the simple fact that I feel like Trump came into power and that was the last straw for women being like, you know what? We've been fucked over so long and so much and, like, kept our secrets in the dark and haven't told anybody that we're fed up. Like, we have a person in the White House, and I'll say allegedly because I don't know, they could sue the podcast, but I'll say allegedly and I'm saying quotation marks, you can't see it, but allegedly sexually assaulted women, has basically been a, like, hardcore racist. This, like, I think it's women have got to the point being like, okay, this is the last straw. You know what? I'm tired of being quiet. Yeah. And it started this amazing, for me as a male on the outside looking in, revolution of like, okay, you know what? Things have got so bad that I feel the need to speak out about what's happened to me as a woman, kind of thing. I was going to ask you how you felt about it all, because we don't really, you and I don't really talk about this. No, but that much together. But like, as a guy looking in, not to. Okay, put me on the spot again. No, that's fine, because I actually have, yeah. Oh, we have Fireball, so yes. We have Fireball. I decided to break out the hard liquor. I guess it's not really hard liquor. No, it's considered. For the harder subjects. I guess trickier. But
Yeah, how did you feel about it? I love Fireball so much.
As a person, and I bring it a lot up on Intoxicated Reviews, I'm half black, but I've always kind of, like, obviously been into racial subjects. And so I can only think of my own anger when it comes to racism and stuff like that. But looking at, like, being kind of like I can honestly say this year I not that I have ever been like, oh, women have it fine. I know women have had it tough, but my eyes have been super wide open in a weird. I don't think of myself as naive, but certain, like, my eyes have been opened as a male this year with the MeToo movement and what's going on in Hollywood with a lot of actresses. Like, I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was
this bad.
Terribly bad.
Yeah.
Like, I in my mind, I'm like, yeah, men, there's sexual predators out there, or people who, like, you hear about casting couches, and you hear about, like, all the stuff going on with, like, people like Bill Cosby and like, people that, like, hurts my heart, because I grew up with these people thinking, like, how could he do this? But that's the problem. It's like the Dave Chappelle joke, like, why do you think Michael Jackson didn't molest kids? Oh, it's because he moonwalks. Like, if you find emotional connection with a celebrity, you get this false sense of, like, oh, they bring me joy, so how could they be a bad person? But that being said, this year blew the top off all that, which is crazy. But yeah, so this year has been terrible. Like, the amount of women in Hollywood, or the amount of just women in general. I shouldn't say just Hollywood. It's just that's the most polarizing thing. That's what you watch.
That's what is out there. Like,
that's what you see on the internet.
Yeah.
You're like, I know this person. I watch movies she's in, and she's been. So I don't want to be ignorant when it comes to, like, it's only these. It's not, but it's just. It's like, honestly, as a male this year, my eyes have been open more. Like, I think I'm a pretty forward-thinking person and understand certain things, but as a male who I think I'm forward-thinking, I was, like, blown away by some of the stuff that came out this year. And it maybe, even though it's a negative thing, I think it's a positive thing this year that, you know what, women had enough, and they're going to tell people, you know what, I'm being fucked over. I shouldn't be embarrassed about it. The people who are doing it should be embarrassed. And I'm going to tell people, you know what, this person did this to me. This person did that.
Exactly.
And I should preface that also with, there's obviously not as many, but there's been males that have come out this year as well, being in any that have been sexually assaulted or exploited by people in positions of power. I know it's more women, but I will say, like I said, my eyes have been open wider than I've ever thought they could be.
That's good. And 100. It can't be easy. Like, no, kind of coming to terms with all of that. I don't even know. Like, it's just, I totally agree. I just feel like, even though it's shitty and it's exposing so much shittiness, there's so much, like, empowerment coming from it in a weird way.
Well, yeah.
I feel that about myself this year anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing too. That's what I always say. Like, sometimes you hold stuff in and it's worse for you. And then when you finally do get it out, you feel so much better. Even though in the past you're like, I keep it in because I don't want to be embarrassed, or I don't want people to view me as
it's about what other people
victim.
Think.
Like, I said, I'm not a person in this situation, so I can't champion people to do this, but I respect the movement that in a way that, hey, you know what? Maybe at the end of the day, I don't know if I could do it, but I respect the fact that it's come down to enough is enough.
Exactly.
And now and I appreciate the fact that this is support. And it sucks. Yeah. It really, really sucks in my books that this support is women and people in general that have had this happen to them. And it's like, oh my God, this happens to so many people that we can bond over it in a weird way. Weird's not the right way. It's not the right term.
It's a weird circumstance.
Yeah, but it's like
together.
It sucks that it's more common than not. But that being said, that people now are just open to it, open to talking to other people in it or people that can help them. If you can take any positive from a really bad negative, is that this year showed more than most that at the end of the day, there's somebody out there who's going through what you're going through, unfortunately, but they're there to help and they're there to bond, and you can help each other
and listen and learn. Which is what I took away from like the Us 2 episode that I did with the girls. Like when I was like at that table with them, I was like, what's happening right now is bigger than anything I ever thought. Like when I started the podcast being like, it's drunk, fun, comedy.
Yeah.
It just like turned into a totally different thing.
Yeah.
Where it was like, holy shit, I brought 4 people together who would not normally have come together and sit at a table and talk about some dark, shitty stuff, but like become closer because of it and like learn from each other and learn about like the common threads that come from it.
Yeah. And the other positive is just like, and like I said, I don't want to be the voice of this. Obviously I can't, because I never went through anything like this. But that being said, like, it's amazing that, like, this is, as much as social media and stuff is super negative, I know, like we've had stories recently about cyberbullying. Like, I know there's recently in Halifax, I know people can put out stick their nose up to certain things, but there was a porn star that was from Halifax that was cyberbullied that killed herself recently.
Holy shit, I didn't know about this.
Yes, yeah. But it's like the internet can be a very dark place, and people who want to knock the internet, and we can talk about net neutrality and stuff like that, but people who want to twist these words for their own agendas, but also there are positives. There are people connecting online. Like, it's weird to think you're alone in the world and nobody's there, but you can put, and I know people may make fun of it, but you can put a hashtag, like we said, MeToo, and find other people all over the world.
Going
not
through the same
just
thing.
not just friends or people in your community, but you can find people all over the world. And I think that's like, when you're like, wow, I am really not alone. This happens to a lot of people. You can, there's certain positives to the internet that I feel like are thrown away, but if you can find a connection with anybody when you're feeling like you have nobody to talk to,
that's a good thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to dwell too much on it.
100%. No, but like, that's the thing, and that's why when I think of 2017, it's hard for me not to think about all the shitty things, but I'm just like, so much, like, I feel the only word I can use to describe it is like supercharged. Yeah. Like, I just feel absolutely supercharged. I feel unashamed. Yeah. Like, it's a great thing to come out of it.
Yeah. So
it's like, shitty that things have happened. Yeah. But it's good that women and people are now talking about it.
So if we're
Everyone's talking about it.
If we're just round tabling it, like I said, like, because if we go back to the original point, I just think, like, if we're to take any positives about how bad the Trump administration has made the world, take this one positive. The one positive is, and in my books is how I think, it's just like women and mankind have become so fed up with this oppressed, like, privileged administration that, like, they're just like, you know what, I'm done keeping my feelings and my experiences in the dark. Like, I'm gonna talk about it. And you know what, well, no, I don't want to say it this way, but if you're just like, fuck Donald Trump, which I feel like I'm fuck Donald Trump. I'm sorry, if you listen to the podcast and you support Trump,
we both are, but like, if you
want to take one positive out of this, is that he's such a shitty piece of shit human being. He's fast-tracked the revolution of, we're not going to take this anymore. And I think
100%.
And you know what? When you sit there and you watch CNN or you watch, well, don't watch Fox News, but when you see how shitty he's doing it, he fucked himself over, because I think people are now realizing they're not going to take that shit. But
that's so true.
It's
That's so freaking true, though.
Yeah, because I sit there and I watch him on TV and I watch the shit he's doing and I get depressed. And the one thing that makes me feel a little bit better about the world is that, like, what he's doing is making people be like, we're fed up with what you're doing. We're going to do what we can. And I'm not saying, like, like, burn down the White House. I'm saying, you know what? If this is how you're going to treat the world, we're not going to be in the shadows anymore.
Fuck yes! It's so true!
It is. And so when you're up at night and you're depressed about Donald Trump, just realize he fucked the world over and he's probably made the world in this aspect fight back against them. So anyway, I don't want to dwell too much more on it because I think we went on about it, but
no, that's fucking great.
Yeah, I could not be more proud of people who have come out with their stories recently.
Speak up. It takes a lot of courage.
Yeah,
it really, really, really does. And damn, it's hard to find. I think that's a pretty positive note to end it on now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a positive note.
It is a positive note, yeah.
But
if you're looking for a positive out of anything he did,
so much shitty negativity.
Yeah, it's just he forced people to say enough is enough.
Anyways, guys, we're going to wrap this up. This is the last Intoxicated episode of 2017.
We're going to wrap it up like many Christmas gifts coming out on this stupid holiday.
That I have to wrap underneath my tree that I haven't wrapped yet.
You're going to wrap 2 pillows?
No, they're books that I had to get. Because we did the book exchange.
Gotcha. I wish I was in a book. Hey, Nikki, Jill. Next year we got to do a book exchange for Halloween.
Nerds!
That's my book group.
It's really funny because with my family, I sent some pictures of. So I sent because I was in Kohl's and I was like, God damn, I wonder what they're gonna get me because they don't really know me. And I saw the disaster.
My family doesn't really know me.
They don't. I saw a disaster artist, and then I saw Unqualified by Anna Faris, and I was like, fuck. I should have suggested these books. And so I sent them pictures being like, in case no one's gotten me the books yet, like, these are the ones I want. I'm so fucking nervous to see what they got me. They probably got me dye books. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
Anyway, that's about it. We're really excited for next year in terms of the podcast.
The growth, yeah.
Corey and I, like, we're always coming up with ideas, I think.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, we just kind of spitball off each other. And
that being said,
it's really great.
Like, I just premiered on my Christmas episode, the Ben Afflection. If you do anything, go on Instagram and check out the social media pictures we have. Sarah put together a picture that blew my mind, and that so much so that I think I may get it on a t-shirt. But it's like I know she gives Intoxicated Reviews the rub a lot, but like all the social media pics and stuff like that are amazing. She puts a lot of work into it. She puts a lot of work in the podcast, and I will say, I am thankful for Sarah on the podcast. She makes my life a lot easier. Like, this is, and I will say, this year has been super fun because I will say for me, because we've put so much input and bounced so much stuff off each other that it makes a podcast. Have somebody in this podcast, I know she started it, but have somebody to just talk about, to have a partner in crime in a podcast. Yeah. It's made this year so much easier and so much more amazing. So thank you, Sarah.
Oh, bud. Thanks for being my last guest of the year. How do you feel with that? I mean, like, hopefully we'll get Corey and Brian's on at some point. Yeah. Because I want to dive deep into the childhood stuff that you guys used to do.
That's going to be a couple parts.
Yeah. You're going to be back on, and
oh yeah, of course.
Thank you too for being it's been great. It's like I said, it's the highlight of the year. Yes. I quit everything I start, and the fact that I didn't quit the podcast is, like, to me, an accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean,
in a weird way. Like, I think you did, but I think a lot of our friends probably didn't think the podcast would last this long.
I mean,
you know, like,
I keep it going because it's fun. Like, I'm not in.
we genuinely have so much fucking fun doing this. Like, there are some stresses that come with it, but for the most part, like, we're just doing this anyway.
I know.
We hope you guys like it. If you're going to give us both a Christmas gift, like a review on iTunes would be great on either channel.
Yes.
Just ratings, because ratings are what is going to keep us on the charts. Like,
yes.
Even if you got a bunch of your friends together and do it all at once, that means that we'll get on the charts. So you should do it. Feedback, you can email the Gmail account. If you have something to say that, like, you might not want out in public, fucking email us.
Yeah.
We would love to hear from you.
And if you want to give us 5, even if you hate it, give us 5-star ratings, being like, I give you 5 stars because you guys are a piece of shit. We'll take it.
Give us 5 stars, give us constructive feedback, and we'll read it on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll give people shout outs. We are shameless. And you know what? I know you're listening to M&M's, and we've been waiting for that caramel M&M's sponsorship on Intoxicated Reviews. We're waiting for it. I know you're being friggin' terrible about it, but just send it to us. We'll
just
talk
do
about
it already.
We are so willing to sell out. It's uncomfortable.
I meant to get you caramel M&M's tonight and I forgot. I'm sorry.
Worst New Year's ever.
But we're stoked. It's only going to go up from here. We're going to have like so many different guests on, like both sides of things. The bread and butter of my show is still going to be talking to friends, but I'm reaching out to other people too, people. So fucking get ready for 2018, because 2017 was literally just the primer, I think, for 2018.
Yeah. And I promise, I'm going to say and less going forward. I say it a lot.
You don't say like as much as Evan.
Yeah, that's true.
You say probably.
Oh, is insane.
I think you're more of an ummer.
I'm a super ummer, which is terrible because if anybody listens to the podcast, they know for a long time I was calling myself the human like button, but I should be the
human button.
Yeah.
You should change your biography.
But humbug because I hate Christmas. Let's say VHR.
Anyways, Merry Christmas, I guess.
Didn't even mean that.
Thanks for listening, guys. This year's been fucking great for us. Maybe not so great on a world level, but we've already been through that. I'm gonna wrap it the fuck up and say, ring that bell.
All right.
Hey, Krista. Hey, Lily. Did you know in your lifetime you'll pass a murderer 36 times?
I did. And you know why?
Why?
Because we're 36 Times, a Canadian true crime podcast which covers crimes in the Great White North.
Oh, right.
Every episode, we focus on a major crime and then we lighten things up with a kooky one.
We talk about everything from the criminal justice system itself to animals arguably not doing what they should, bringing you true crime with a shot of maple syrup.
Catch our episodes bi-weekly on iTunes or your favorite, that's favorite with a U, podcast app.